Thomas Jefferson once said, "The most valuable of all talents is that of never using two words when one will do." More than 200 years later, that advice remains relevant. Managers and stakeholders often have limited time and cannot read every page of a technical report or proposal. They need the most important information presented clearly and concisely. And that is exactly the purpose of the executive summary. Executive summaries help decision makers understand a problem, evaluate a recommendation, and then make informed decisions regarding the entire report by just reading the executive summary. This week we'll explore executive summaries and executive presentations. Over the next few minutes, I will discuss the purpose of executive summaries, the key elements of an effective summary, and briefly review this week's assignment. Let's begin with what makes executive summary different from other technical documents. Technical reports and proposals contained detailed analysis, research, and supporting information. Executive summaries, however, focus on helping executives understand a problem, evaluate a recommendation, and then make an informed decision quickly. Effective executive summaries answer several important questions. What's the problem? What solutions being recommended? What benefits can be expected? How will the solution be implemented? And why should this recommendation be approved? The challenge is communicating all that information clearly and concisely, usually within a page. Chapter 14 explains that executive summaries begin with the most important information, usually the problem or the need, followed by what the proposed solution is, the key benefits of the solution, and an implementation plan. Notice that executive summaries emphasize recommendations and results rather than the technical details. As we've discussed throughout this whole course, technical communication is audience-centered. Executive audiences are often focused on outcomes. They want to know what problem is being solved, what benefits will be achieved, and whether that recommendation is feasible. Is it worth pursuing? Of course, written communication is only part of the process. How do technical professionals communicate recommendations in person? Chapter 18 reminds us that presentations should communicate information efficiently and professionally. Executive presentations are not classroom lectures. They are briefings. Successful presentations focus on the most important information. They use visuals effectively, and they avoid overwhelming the audience with excessive text or unnecessary details. Remember, your PowerPoint is not a script, it's a visual aid. The goal is to communicate recommendations clearly, professionally, and confidently. This week, you will transform your week 6 proposal into 2 executive level communications, a written executive summary and an executive style presentation. Your written executive summary will summarize the problem, propose solutions, discuss the benefits, and make a recommendation in about 1 page. You will also create and record a 5-minute PowerPoint presentation that communicates your recommendation, expected benefits, and how you're going to implement this plan. This week, we explored 3 key ideas. We discussed the purpose of executive communications. We talked about the structure of an executive summary, and we talked about this week's assignment. As you complete this week's work, remember that strong executive communication is not about saying more. It's about identifying the most important information and communicating it clearly and concisely. Have a great week.